This is genuinely sickening, as Dallas Mavericks fans had to go through the worst trade in NBA history just weeks ago, and the fanbase is trying to find the silver linings, trying to find the positives, but Nico Harrison and the Mavericks organization continues to make horrific decisions, continues to just insult the intelligence of the Dallas Mavericks fanbase, and frankly, it's coming at the worst possible time, with the well-anticipated matchup against Luca Doncic coming up tomorrow. This thing continues to fall apart and is setting up an absolute disaster class for the Dallas Mavericks. So we're going to break down what the Mavericks have done over the past couple days, which is genuinely insulting the intelligence of the fan base, why things are all culminating to an absolute disaster for this team, and frankly, just rip into Nico Harrison, because things continue to get worse for everything. The decisions that have come out from the front office of this team. So lots of stuff to break down, but folks, I am Marcel Martin's twin brother, and I am here to give you the latest news while Marcel is out catching some sun out there on a cruise. So shout out to Marcel, well-deserved vacation, but we got to keep delivering you the latest Mavericks content. We have one goal, as well as delivering the latest Mavericks news, and it's to hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of the week before Marcel comes back. We're only 159 away, folks. That's a huge milestone for the channel, and we want to hit that number, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Dallas Mavericks news, especially during this crazy time with the Mavericks making a push out there in the Western Conference and facing off against Luca Doncic tomorrow. But let's dive into the madness, because frankly, Mavericks fans, of course, dealt with the shock, dealt with the annoyance, dealt with all of the emotions when the Mavs obviously ended up trading away Luka Doncic. Don't have to rehash that. But just as the team is trying to find some silver linings, because, of course, the Mavericks have actually been winning some games. Some solid wins out there. Even the loss that they sustained, it came in an OT thriller against the Sacramento Kings. So everything that's been going on, there's been the fan base is trying to come to terms with it, because you get some wins. The team is still fighting out there in the Western Conference. The sky fell down. I'm not saying this trade was a good thing by any stretch of the imagination, but the fan base is trying to move on and move forward. But the Mavericks organization continues to make things messier, and we'll talk about the Warriors game that just happened last night as well, which is coming at a horrific time. But one thing came out over the weekend, which is genuinely idiotic, and I'll play it here for you before I give a take and opinion on it here first. But you see this highlight. This is a clip from one of the highlight videos, and it was a quick clip, but you can see it here now. There was essentially one of these moments that a logo was shown over a specific player, and the fan base was up in arms because that player was specifically Luka Doncic, and the organization came out and said, oh no, that's just editing. Now you see all these videos, that's just what we do. We didn't want to insult Luka Doncic because, of course, Maxi Kleber, Morris weren't video edited out or covered out there in terms of these video edits. It was just Luka Doncic. And with all the petty quotes, with all the annoying comments that have come out from Nico Harrison, from the front office, from the new ownership group, essentially, that this organization is petty, and they'd be willing to do something like that. And if you look into the specifics, myself, I'm a video editor. I've done a lot of the graphics out here for Mavs Digest over the past year, but basically, I'm playing this again. How on earth are you going to argue that this was an accident? I mean, the logo is tracking Luka Doncic's face, basically they're covering it, and you could see the clips, you could see the frames where there's a green screen, where there's an edit of Luka Doncic taken out of the video. It's a trash editing job, and they're trying to argue that it was an accident. It was tracked onto Luka Doncic's body. There's no arguments out here for saying, oh, this was an accident, this was this. Idiotic. The organizations try to blacklist Luka Doncic like it's going to help the fan base, like it's, it's just stupidity coming out there from this team. And then, of course, to make matters worse, the Mavericks face off against the Warriors. Now, I'm not going to come out here and bash on Kyrie, bash on the players, because they're doing their best. With all of the injuries that have been sustained, the Mavericks, again, I brought it up, have been in a good position, been getting some wins. They're in a solid position in the Western Conference, but they just faced off against the Golden State Warriors and lost 102 to 126. It was an ugly game, the worst game since the Luka Doncic trade. That is what it is. Maybe it's not the worst because no one got injured or serious. Big Kyrie at least did have a crazy season-ending injury, so that's a bit of a positive. But Kyrie, Max Christie can only carry you so far. And one of the big silver linings has been Max Christie, one of these trades. Okay, maybe that's the piece that can, get us over the top or get us, back in terms of looking at this trade as not an absolute disaster class. Well, he had his worst game as a Maverick, and that is what it is. 2 points, 1 of 5 shooting. Kyrie and Max Christie can only carry you so much, especially when teams like the Warriors are coming out and tripling Kyrie on different possessions. All the defensive focus is on these guards because you trade it for a guy that is made of glass and Anthony Davis. And saying, oh, it makes sense because Luca Doncic is an injury risk. Stupidity. And I don't want to disrespect AD. Of course, this team fully healthy is going to be a squad over the next few seasons. That's going to be very dynamic, very effective, and all these types of things. But you traded away Luka Doncic for this. And I don't want to dive into this game because it was just bad. It was ugly. It was a mess. But Nico Harrison, and you might say this is audacious enough, decide to show his face out there to a crowd, out there in a position to, while he's watching these games. And that is what it is. He's looking like a supervillain out there in the crowd. Then you see him do this. Mid-game, at a Warriors game, not even a Lakers game. The man that fleeced him, the man that finessed him, the man that people are making conspiracy theories about, that Nico Harrison is a mole by Adam Silver, by the LA Lakers, by Big NBA, whatever it is, to essentially tear down the Dallas Mavericks from the inside out. He's out there showing his face just weeks removed from the biggest just mess of a trade in NBA history. Out there dapping it up, chopping it up with Rob Pelinka out there in public. In a game, while he's watching, not even at a Lakers game, at a Golden State Warriors game. Do you see the optics in this, Nico? Do you see how this looks to the fan base? Your team is getting blown out. You're about to face off against the guy that you traded away for completely like pennies on the dollar. And then you're just chopping it up. You're out there yapping with the guy that absolutely cleaned your clock out there in one of these trades. Stupid. Stupid. And to make matters worse, you have this game, which is what it is. But then tomorrow, the team is facing off against the LA Lakers. This is, the biggest, most anticipated game of the season. And on top of it, Luka Doncic, who's been struggling as of late, he comes out and has his best game against the Denver Nuggets, where the Lakers get a win against the red-hot, Nikola Jokic team. And, I don't have his stats. Yeah, Luka Doncic having 32 points in this one, coming out and, getting 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, playing energy on defense. He's happy. He's smiling. You watch that game and you're like, why on earth did you trade this man? And now the collision of the disaster class Mavericks here at this point, and then Luka Doncic, they're just on a collision course for a game tomorrow night, and things are just looking messy. Things are looking like it is going to be horrific. It is going to be a very, very unfortunate situation for this Mavericks squad. So it's a complete mess right here. And then one thing that's getting overlooked as well is a former assistant coach for the Dallas Mavericks, essentially Jamal Mosley, has come out and basically went against everything the front office has been saying. Essentially, Mosley came out and said that I constantly remember working and him being able to work on a consistent basis because he loves the game of basketball. So as for the other stuff, I can't speak on it because I haven't been there in 4 years, and I'm really just focused on what we're trying to accomplish with the Magic, of course. He's the head coach of the Orlando Magic. But again, that's part of the NBA, part of trades. But my recollection of him working with him is I constantly remember him working and him being able to work on consistent basis. One, because he loves the game of basketball, and when you love the game of basketball, you work at it. So, and that's of course, like to make an argument that, a guy averaging in an injury-riddled season, averaging 27 points per game, 8.2 rebounds, 7.5 assists, just doesn't work on his game is stupid. And it's not, you're not fooling anyone, in regards to the outsiders looking at it for this Dallas Mavericks team. So this is just madness. This is just idiocracy. This is just foolishness. So I don't know. We'll see how this game goes tomorrow against the LA Lakers. Hopefully the Mavericks are able to shock the world and do something, but we'll see how it all shakes out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about all of this news. Anyways, you guys are best at making this far. If you haven't hit the subscribe button just yet, we're so close to 20,000 subscribers. It'd be a great gift to Marcel if we hit that number before we essentially, get that, before he comes back on vacay. Anyways, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.